So it's not just for us, it's for everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. You must be here for my AP Government class. Well, let's get going to my abnormally well lit studio and see what we can learn today. Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Murtaugh. There is no g. Your teacher who's making videos now. Anyways, today's topic is democracy. Democracy is a way of organizing power. The word comes from ancient Greek. In Greek, demos means people, and kratos means power or rule. Together, these two root words mean rule by the people, or power as exercised by the people, or people as power. It's not precise, but the people, power, and rule connection is definitely there. Now, the United States government, since its founding, has described itself as a democracy. A particular sort of democracy, but nevertheless, this country has always stated a commitment to democratic ideals. This is really easy to see in the preamble to the United States Constitution. The preamble reads, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." These words are the first words in the most fundamental document of the country. No matter what you think of the Constitution, at its foundation, these were the stated goals of the people that founded the country and also the people that followed them. So they're worth using to kind of evaluate the success or failure of this country, and if you like them, other countries. So, what are those ideals? How can we use them to guide our thinking about our country we live in? Is the US a great example of democracy, a beacon of hope to the world, or is it a lot of talk and not a lot of action? Since World War II, we have definitely positioned ourselves as the bulwark, the great defender, the best example of democracy. So looking at what our own words say about our priorities, and then how those priorities have played themselves out in the world, is one of the most fundamental tasks of like an engaged citizen, which like we're hoping to be, or citizenship, messed up concept, a person that lives here and has to deal with the rules. As you will hopefully see, that question, who should make the rules, that's like the whole question with democracy. Do we limit it to just citizens, or do we say people affected by our rules should have a say in them? When we go over and bomb Yemen, for instance, do we think the people that we are killing should have a say over what's happening to them in their lives? In this class, and for most political theorists regarding the United States, we can broadly state four fundamental ideals of democratic governance. The four values are the good life, everyone's voice deserves to be heard, liberty, and stability. People might have different words for a lot of these concepts, but in broad strokes, these four things are kind of the foundational commitments of our government. So, first, the good life. People who believe in democracy believe in the fundamental equality of all human beings. This is the we the people that are meant to have justice, tranquility, general welfare, and liberty in the preamble. People who believe in democracy believe that no one has more of a right to a good life than anyone else, that everyone has just as much of a right to flourish as any other human. From that fundamental commitment, it follows that people should have power, and that this power should not be concentrated in the hands of one person, a small group, or a class of people. Each of those situations where some people have power, be it one, a small group, or a class, has historically led to a small group of people having very good lives and most people having bad lives. And it has almost always been at most people's expense. One can very easily call most of these societies unjust rather than just, chaotic rather than stable, lacking the general welfare, and profoundly unfree. The second value is that everyone's voice deserves to be heard. When some people's lives are worse, why can't they make them better? Usually it's because some particular concerns or problems that are proving to be an obstacle to those people are not being listened to or addressed by the people that could address them. If your voice is heard, if people listen to your problem can be solved. This comes from the idea that when peasants in Qing China weren't being fed, in order to make their voice heard, they got together and had the Taiping Revolution. When Americans had to pay too many taxes, they got together and had the American Revolution. When Haitians were being brutally tortured and enslaved, a big factor in that was that the French owners of those plantations weren't listening to them. The people knew the problem. The people with power were not listening.
So commitment to everyone having a voice means society is a lot more stable and the government will continue to exist.
The third fundamental democratic ideal is liberty. Democracies are organized so that people within them can be free. People are generally happiest when they feel like they can follow their hearts, kind of do what they want. People do not like to feel unreasonably constrained. The fourth democratic ideal, in tension with liberty, is stability. Democracies are organized so that one person or a small group cannot change the daily lives of millions of people whenever they want. Under a king or an emperor, the people have no say over what their lives will look like the next day. If the king decides you have to move, you move. If the king decides you have to die, you die. A democracy is organized so people can push back against those arbitrary exercises of power, against people just deciding willy-nilly, right? So, in conclusion, the good life, everyone deserves the opportunity to flourish, right? Everybody deserves to be able to have a good life. You should be able to choose to have a bad one, I guess, if you feel like it, but ideally, everybody's doing okay. Second, everyone's voices are heard. In order for that to happen, in order for people to feel free, in order for stability to kind of happen, you need to be able to speak up when it's time. Third is liberty. People like to be able to make their own decisions. They're happier that way. Society is more stable that way. It's hard to find someone that doesn't think liberty is cool. Fourth is stability. Very similarly, if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, it's stressful. We've all been there. You guys remember the coronavirus at the beginning. It was like, oh, what's going to happen ever? And it was very stressful. Anyways, thanks for listening. It was like, oh, what's going to happen ever?